This is the exact dopamine rewiring protocol that not only I've used, but other people have used to get alien-like results. Just copy this and you're probably gonna see some pretty ridiculous results. You're gonna see an immediate return on your time, hours and hours and hours back every single week. In the first few weeks, you're gonna see a noticeable improvement in your focus and concentration. In the first few months, you're going to see a significant improvement in your attention span, in your focus. You're going to unlock hundreds, if not thousands of hours every single year. And it's probably going to change your perspective on goal setting and what your potential is. I can speak for myself here. I had ADHD symptoms. I was diagnosed with ADHD because I had such terrible concentration and focus. After implementing this, I've been able to have ridiculous levels of focus and concentration. I hadn't run more than 10 kilometers in my entire life coming into this year. I've now run my 4th marathon in just 4 months. I'm looking to run a marathon every single month until the end of the year. I'm on track to become fluent in a new language in just 6 months. Guys, the potential is unlimited. I truly believe this is the real life limitless pill. This is exactly what I've done. This is what I've seen work. Just copy this. You're probably going to see some cool results. The way this works is by removing things that are in your life that are providing you cheap and easy dopamine. Activities that don't require a whole lot of effort, but feel really damn good. The reason these are so toxic is because they provide an anchor. Whenever you're thinking about working out, working on your business, doing that challenging thing, your brain always has that anchor of a very easy thing to do that feels really good. It makes it incredibly difficult for you to want to do anything. It's why you feel like you're procrastinating all the time, why you're training yourself to have a poor attention span by constantly consuming high stimulus, high volume content, and probably why you can't stick with any of your goals long term, because you're training your brain to be impulsive, short-term thinking, and you're making it not want to do these things that are moving you towards your goals. The way dopamine rewiring works is to remove these toxic, cancerous behaviors that are preventing you from achieving your goals, so that our brain associates feeling good, those pleasurable dopamine-related feelings, with moving you towards your goals, with working on your business, with working out, with building relationships with your friends and family, the things that truly matter. Very first thing that we do is identify the cheap dopamine sources. What are you currently doing that is providing you high levels of dopamine, but not moving you in any way towards your goals? I'll give you a bunch of examples, but think about it like this. Is this online entertainment? If it's online entertainment, it's probably a cheap form of dopamine. So good examples here: playing video games, scrolling, whether that's TikTok, social media, any of that stuff, binge watching TV shows, playing video games, watching a bunch of sports. All of these things, even things like consuming a bunch of politics, all of these we would consider cheap dopamine. So first thing you need to do is create a list. Get a piece of pen and paper and just write down every single thing that is providing you cheap dopamine, but is in no way moving you towards your goals. Second thing we need to do is identify what is taking up the most time. Now you might think, well, I have no idea. Yes, you do. You have your screen time. You can probably figure out straight away where all your time's going into. Do you have 2 hours a day on Instagram? Do you have 2 hours a day on Clash of Clans? Are you spending a bunch of time on Netflix? Where is your time going? You can figure it out very, very easily. You probably know subconsciously where a bunch of your time is going. So we want to figure out, where is all that time going? Once you've figured out where you're spending most of the time, what I want you to do is, with that list, order the items based on what is taking up the most time to what is taking up the least amount of time. So they should be rank ordered in terms of what takes the most time to what takes the least amount of time. From here, as you can imagine, the goal is to remove these items from your life. So how are we going to do that? Well, we need to do this slowly and methodically. If you try and race into removing everything at once, then what's going to happen is you're going to have this great big surge of motivation. You're going to feel really good. You're going to get rid of everything, and then 2 or 3 days later, or if you have great amount of willpower, 2 or 3 weeks later, you're going to wake up one day and be like, oh, maybe I'll just scroll a bit, or oh, maybe I'll just re-download this game. You're going to crumble. You're going to break because you've changed your environment too dramatically, too quickly. The goal here is to remove one item per month. Remove one form of online entertainment, one form of cheap dopamine from your life every single month. If you're trying to remove 2 or more items from your life every single month, it's probably not going to work. Unless you have crazy amounts of willpower, it's not going to work. The only way this could possibly work is if you had a good amount of support around you, good accountability systems, which we provide at Modern Monk. But if you're just trying to do this by yourself, then not going to work. Try and get rid of just one thing a month. Now, there's probably items on this list that you're looking at and you're saying, but I don't want to get rid of this. If there are items on this list that you don't want to get rid of, then there is a limiting belief that you have to get rid of before you can get rid of this item. But every single thing on this list can be removed. And if you remove every single thing on this list, I guarantee you are going to have a significantly better quality of life. You're going to get your goals a lot quicker. You're going to have a much better outlook on life. Your potential is going to go up. So if there are things on this list that you don't want to get rid of those limiting beliefs and get back to removing these items. So on this list, you have a bunch of items that you need to get rid of. The first thing you need to do is identify the number one thing on that list. For your first month, the only thing you're focusing on is getting rid of that one thing. So how are we going to get rid of this one item? How are we going to remove this thing from our life? There's lots of ways you can go about doing it. There are lots of things that you can do. There's lots of things that you can do that aren't going to be that good. The way I'd recommend doing this is remove through leverage. By that, what I mean is you want to identify what are the activities, what are the behaviors that I can do right now that if I do once, then I never have to do them again, and it makes it incredibly difficult for me to do this activity. The very highest leverage thing that you can possibly do is not having the best willpower in the world and saying, I'm not going to scroll, I really am not going to do it, it's definitely not going to happen. The highest leverage thing you can do is remove access. If you don't have access to an item, then you cannot use it. If you're trying to stop eating cookies, then if I locked you in a room and there was no cookies in the room and you couldn't leave the room, how are you going to eat cookies? It's impossible because you physically cannot do it. How can I be addicted to eating cookies if I can't get my hands on some cookies? However, if I locked myself in a room full of cookies and I said, I'm not going to eat cookies, I might last a few days, I might last a week, unlikely, but I'm going to eat a cookie. The very highest leverage thing that you can possibly do is remove access to this item. Now, in the Modern Monk community, we run through all of the access prevention methods, all of the tiers of leverage, but I recommend the first thing you can do is remove access. If you're someone who's playing a lot of video games, throw out the console, delete the video games, do things that make it incredibly difficult for me to do the behaviors that I don't want to do. Now, you've made it to the end of your first month. What is the play? The play is cross out that item from your list and move to the next one and do the exact same thing. Work through the tiers of leverage to try and remove that behavior from your life. Once you get rid of that behavior, once the 30 days are up, work your way down. And as you can see, if you've written out how much time you spend on that behavior per week, per month, per year, what you're going to realize is, oh, so I've just saved myself over 1,000 hours a year. And I've improved my attention span, and I've improved my focus, and I now have more ambitious goals, and I enjoy working towards my goals, and I have a completely different outlook on life. Whoa, this is pretty crazy. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. That's why the goal is to have this long term. This isn't some sort of quick detox where I take a month off everything and I'm refreshed and I'm ready to go. This is something that you slowly and methodically do over time so you can make lasting and permanent changes. Now, if you want to learn more about dopamine rewiring, you can join my free Modern Monk community. And what we're going to do is set out a dopamine rewiring roadmap for you. We're going to walk through the entire process with you 100% for free, so you know exactly what to do. It's personalized for your goals, for what you're struggling with, for how we can make it as easy as possible for you. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description below. Guys, this changed my life in more ways than I can possibly imagine. I just hope that you can use these exact same models, these exact same systems on yourself to see the kind of results that I've seen. There is no limit to this. I personally think that this is the real life limitless pill. If you want to learn more about this, there's a lot more about this on my channel. There's a lot more about this in my free school community, Modern Monk. Check that all out. If you liked the video, then like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you in another video. There's probably some around here somewhere, so see you there.